This is the EVO Start Recording Bundle, a full studio setup for a beginner. But does it suck, or is it sweet? I should let you know that Audient sent me this kit to keep, and I'm going to repay them with a review. Based on how my last few reviews went for bundles, you might be thinking that was an odd choice on their behalf. I kind of agree with you. That said, if you did miss those reviews, I'll put them up here, probably the most contentious videos that I've ever done. Let's see if we can improve on that, though. Now, the whole point of one of these bundles is to get someone off the ground and running with a simple purchase. The problem is, just because you're starting out doesn't mean you should have to give up quality sound. There are a ton of affordable mics and headphones out there that you shouldn't have to compromise. But, as we've seen, that's not always the case, which is why I can be a bit tough on these setups. So, if you are going to buy this, this is what you get in the box. You get the EVO 4, the belle of the ball if you will, the SR1 mic with a shock mount, the SR2000 headphones, an XLR cable, and a USB cable. Also a quick start guide for some of the features on the EVO 4. So then, the first impressions on the cables, the XLR is your basic cheap cable. It'll work just fine for you, and if you're gentle with it, you might not need to replace it for some time. It is, however, on the short side though, so if you need a cable with a bit more length, you may have to shell out for that. As for the USB cable, well, it's USB-A to USB-C, which is nice to see. Though it is extremely short, this might be an issue for you. Good to know, though, that you can get a longer one for pretty cheap online if you need it. I guess then we might as well start with the Surebet here. This is one of the smallest interfaces you can buy and pretty well priced, coming in at $129 US. From a build quality perspective, the EVO 4 falls a bit short though. The body is actually all plastic and it's thin. You can actually hear the thinness of it when you knock on it. That said, it isn't cheap when it comes to features. It's 24-bit, 96 kilohertz. It has 2 XLR mic inputs and 1 high-Z instrument input, individually addressable phantom, which is nice, and it has 2 quarter-inch outputs. And as I said before, it's the smallest I've seen yet. It's a great interface for someone with limited desk space. You can also control your monitor mix and output volume with these 2 buttons. Also, though I'm not reviewing it today, take Podcastage's word on it. The instrument inputs are fantastic, so this might be a great start to your studio if you're doing some guitar work. All in all, price to performance is quite good for a beginner setup. What really makes this interface something special is the Smart Gain mode. Basically, if you know nothing about setting your gain, start Smart Gain, talk for a few seconds, and it will set the gain for you automatically, which means you will never clip again. A wonderful feature for streamers that can't be arsed to be constantly checking their levels. So then, at the core of this bundle, it's good. Which leads us to where the wheels generally start to fall off. And the headphones is exactly where they're expected to fall off. These are the SR2000s. And from a build quality perspective, well, it's about as good as the other headphones from M-Audio and Scarlett. Feel cheap, not the most sturdy feeling, and the ear cups do not seal around your ears at all. The cord is about 10 feet, which might be a problem, as I can guarantee you will run this over with your chair a time or two. Now, the headphones for the Scarlett weren't as bad as the ones for the M-Audio from a sound perspective. The M-Audio ones added a ton of color to the low end, and, well, these ones, they're kind of somewhere in between. They don't color as much as the M-Audio, but it's still pretty bad. Something that will screw with your mixes big time. So on that alone, I can't recommend these. Sorry, Audient. Now, this is the one that makes or breaks the bundle, though. The microphone. The build quality on this mic is quite good. Just a bit of give in the screen, but an all-around decent build. The shock mount is much the same, though it does have a bit of plastic in it. That said, there's nothing really concerning here. I do have to say the mount system is tension-based, which I don't really mind. That said, I wouldn't use this mic in any orientation other than straight up. Also, you want to make sure the mic is all the way into the shock mount, as it makes it an issue unplugging the XLR if you don't. When comparing it to the other mics though, from the Scarlett bundle as well as the M Audio one, this is the nicest of the bunch. As for the specs, and by the way, props to Audient for actually releasing the specs of this microphone. It's a super cardioid. It has a frequency response of 20 Hz to 18 kHz, self-noise of 16 dBA weighted, a max SPL of 134 dB, and a signal-to-noise ratio of 78 dB. Not the greatest end to the spec sheet that I've seen, though once again, props to actually publishing some numbers, something that both M Audio and Focusrite didn't do. So, let's see how it survives the testing. This is the off-axis test of the EVO SR1. Here I'm speaking directly into the front of the microphone. Now I'm speaking directly into the side of the microphone from about 5 inches away. Now I'm speaking directly into the rear of the microphone from about 5 inches away. Now for a plosive test of the EVO SR1. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Now for a proximity effect test of the EVO SR1. This is me speaking about 6 inches off the front of the microphone. Now I'm about 1 inch off the front of the microphone. 6 inches, 1 inch. Now we're going back and forth between the EVO SR1 and the AKG P120. The SR1 is a microphone that comes in a bundle and you can't buy by itself. The AKG P120, however, you can. It is quite cheap. In fact, I've called this a unicorn mic in prior videos. This is the difference between the sounds. What do you think? This one comes included in the bundle. This one is about 99 bucks. I'll post the prices up here. Let me know, what do you think? What are the differences between these two microphones? And is it enough to actually justify spending the $99 on a microphone? Let me know down below. The next microphone might be unfair. Not sure yet. Now we have the EVO SR1 versus the Neat Mics Worker B. This is a very unique microphone. This is also a very unique microphone. Now, I'm not exactly sure the Neat Mics Worker B is going to be around very much longer. It was intended to be a much more expensive microphone than it's being sold for now. I think you can get these well under $100. Again, the price will be up here. This is the EVO SR1. And this one comes in a bundle. What do you think between the two of them? Is this one better than this one? I don't think so. Are they close? Let me know what you think between these two microphones down below. This is a tough one. I thought the mic kind of held its own to the P120 and the Worker B. It's a tad muddier in the lows, but with a quick EQ curve, it's pretty much all gone. There's no real horrible frequencies on my voice either, so probably the first mic to get a pass from one of these kits. That said, though, it does have noise, and the signal-to-noise ratio is on the cusp of not being great. Also, on the off-axis coloration test, especially from the back, it was a bit rough, so keep that in mind if you're using this. But if you're hell-bent on getting a studio startup bundle and refuse to actually piece it together yourself, this one does seem to pass most of the tests. Keep a couple things in mind though. If you do get this, understand that the microphone will have almost zero value on the used market. Oh, and the headphones. Basically just that. The headphones were horrible. Those will need upgrades sooner than the mic, though if you want to piece something together like this yourself, well, my recommendations don't waver much. I'd get the EVO 4. It's well priced and performs well for what it is, and it's cute. That said, the Scarlett Solo is also a great buy if you want to go that direction. For the mic, well, if you're not going with the EVO solution, I would go with the AKG P120, and the Neat Worker B is also a good deal. As for the headphones, as I usually do, I recommend the Audio-Technica M20X. Won't be much of an upgrade on build quality, but you're going to be able to rest easy knowing that your mix won't be all wonky from the boosted frequencies. All that said, it's not a horrible purchase. as a starting point for your studio. I really have to put an asterisk beside the starting point. Let me know what you think down below though. As it is with these videos, let me know if you disagree or you agree. Cheers, and I will see you in the next video.